we're rolling.
Dr. Williams, tell us how the church came to this particular location.
Well, that's a great question, Kurt, because it sort of happened. We had a piece of land, one place. I really felt that would be the place to go, but the Lord just said no, and basically it wasn't large enough. Some people wanted it in the south side of Tampa, and we tried that for a year to a year and a half, and that just, everything we tried, blam, the door just shut in our face. So it just wouldn't work. And this lot, I don't know where it came from or who set the name up or where it came from. That's a cipher to me. But it became available, and we felt like we've got to establish ourselves somewhere, and to me this was the wrong place, the wrong part of town, and I was really very disappointed by it. And I can tell you worse stories than that, but at any rate, that's where the Lord put us, and we bought the property and dedicated the property, and I felt like it was sort of the death of my vision, but that's the way I felt about it.
Tell us about the Jacobsons.
Well, they were lovely people. Enjoyed Mr. Jacobson. He was sort of they were both homespun. They were farmers. They loved raising different kinds of crops. And his father and grandfather, told you that he's the one that developed cauliflower. Love it or hate it, but you can blame his grandfather for that. But they were farmers. And they had enough land to do different things, and he always had crops and so on. So that's about what I know about the man.
Tell us about the acquisition of the
Well,
property.
the problem with that, he would tell me, we're willing to say we're ready to sell, but we'd come over with papers to sign, and somehow Mrs. Jacobson, she could just never, I think her heart was in that property is what it amounted to, and she just couldn't sign the papers what it amounted to. So they would back off is what would happen.
But eventually they signed.
It must have been, it took several years.
Yeah. And what about Cooper's Pond and how you were able to get the bigger piece of property?
Well, I don't remember exactly how that started. But they spoke to someone telling us that we had land. Our property was long, as you know, 168 feet wide, and I think it was 1,000 feet deep. I don't remember those dimensions, but it was way too deep, and I thought, it's not feasible for us to use that deep property. So they wanted to swap foot for foot or acre for acre. And we were thrilled to death with that, so that's what we did.
So that got
by that time, the Jacobsons were ready to sell, so we got the north property. And then we were able to get further land, which gave us the ability, because we knew we could build where we are, but my philosophy, Kirk, I wanted to build a sanctuary that we could divide and use for Sunday school and stuff like that. I've seen too many little churches on the side of a hill where they started the education building first, and they never get beyond that. And I didn't want to see that.
So you're saying it was a miracle that you were able to acquire this property in its present configuration.
And let me say it even more explicitly. I was very exercised over this for at least 3 years. To me, it was a burden. And I thought, this is absurd. And one day, and I don't know that I got on my knees, but it was here on the property. I do remember that. And I said, Lord, I'm not going to worry about this another minute. I'm going to put it in your hands. If you want us to have this, work it out. And I don't know how I prayed, but I prayed pretty simply. And the Lord answered my prayer.
So this property is miraculous that we have it in its present form. Thank you so much for sharing about all these areas at the beginning of the church and how the Lord put it on the hearts of people to start it and put it on your heart to come here and worked it out so that this church could be here in this location.
Just to say this, for what it's worth, I hadn't picked out Tampa as the city I wanted to go to. I had been invited to go to Birmingham. I wasn't particularly keen on that. But I wanted to be in a city of some size where we could build a church and, as I say, grow and multiply and send missionaries and do what churches are called to do, teach the Word.
Amen. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. If I can get up.
Pastor Williams, wait a minute, you got your mic on. Don't